Bella, what are you doing? Oh, dearie, dearie me. What has it come to? What has humanity become? I'm struggling to even find the words. I don't know, I have a mixed array of feelings. Anger, disappointment, frustration, sometimes hope, powerless. I just realised that not everyone is ready to hear. Not everyone is willing to listen. What do we do, Bella? How do we get it out there that humanity is in grave danger? It's not some conspiratorial theory or tinfoil hat. You got the left blaming the right. You got the right blaming the left. You've got the right saying that the left are your enemy. You got the left looking at the right saying that they're my enemy. And yet you're looking in all the wrong places, because the left and the right, they're not your enemies. It's the people at the top. It's the people at the top that have been planning this for over what? I gotta say, 100 years nearly. Oh. And yet, if people just took the time to look and just done, I don't know, I'd say 10, 15 minutes out of their time a week and looked these things up, they would see it. They would see it for themselves. Instead of having all this cognitive dissonance. And, well, it's frustrating. Because if we don't do something, we're at a precipice now. If we do not do something, if we do not push back, that's it. You might as well kiss your freedoms goodbye. And your children's children will never know what freedom was. They would never know or get to experience it. And also, what did our forefathers fight in the war for? Our freedoms. And we're just willingly laying over and giving it all away, all under the guise of it's convenient, it's safer, it's much better for you, it's healthier for you. Yeah, right, bollocks. When are people going to really, really wake up? Do you know what? There are some really good people out there, kind, caring, trying to right the world of wrongs. But it seems to be getting less and less every day, Bella. And I can't help sometimes feel despair. And I just think humanity is like being in kindergarten, like children. And sometimes that's an insult to children, really, because I think they're more switched on than us adults. And I feel sorry for them, because their innocence is just going to be completely robbed from them. They're not going to have the freedoms. They're not even going to know what it's all about. And that's the saddest part. And they're going to be living in a very, very dystopian world. And that's because of us. Because of all the infighting, the egos. My view's better than yours. You don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. You're this, you're that. Oh, it's the left. No, it's not, it's the right. Oh, it's the Muslims. No, it's the Jews. Oh, no, it's not. It's the people in power behind power, the people that you don't see, the people that if you looked in the right places and researched history, it would all become very apparent, all of it. These are not individual things that are separate. These are all connected. The immigration, letting people come in from other countries that don't have our beliefs, do not have the same culture as us, have also come from countries that we've bombed and stolen their resources, killed their children, killed their women, and robbed them of everything. And now they're allowing them in our country, and you wonder why they hate us. You wonder why. I mean, come on, guys. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not agreeing with that. But really? And why is that happening, I wonder? Does not anyone question that? Why are you being continuously gaslighted by the media that are owned by the very same people that are in power, yeah? And why is your government ignoring you? I'll tell you why they're ignoring you and why they're gaslighting you. Because they're following agenda. They give you the illusion that you've got choice. Our political system is not ruling us. It hasn't ruled us for several decades now. When are you going to realise that? You have people like Trump, you have people like Farage, you have people like Starmer. They're not running this shit show. The powers that be, the ones what we call the puppet masters that are pulling their strings. And it wouldn't matter who you voted in, because the vote is like giving you an illusion that you've got a freedom of choice, yeah? But don't you realise that these people are already selected, and then they're put in front of you, and then they put to you a manifesto that we're going to do this, we're going to do that, giving you and creating you the illusion that you've got choice, when the reality is you never had choice. You haven't had choice for a very, very long time. And it's becoming more and more apparent each day that goes by. And then you wonder why your own political system is ignoring you. Yeah, they're not taking any notice. I mean, it's evident, isn't it? We've got people coming in this country, we're being invaded. Yeah, and no one's listening. No one. We know it's obvious. We know the damage that it's causing. But why aren't they listening? Do you not ever question why they are not listening? Because there's an agenda. And then people on the right think that Tommy Robinson is your saviour. Yeah, he's not your saviour. Look who's funding him. Look who's behind it. Yeah? Do the research. He's not your saviour. Oh, I'm going to really upset a lot of people about that. Really? Well, you be narrow-minded. Yeah? And there is no saviour. The only saviour is us. Us as people. And the only way we can do that is by uniting and coming together and putting our egos to one side, putting our differences to one side, because we're all pawns in this spiritual war, or whatever you want to call it. Every single one of us, even the Muslims, even those immigrants, even us as British people, or everyone is. The left is even, I mean, they're laughing at all of us, every single one of us, because they've done their psychology, they've done their homework. And what's that saying? Order out of chaos. Create the problem, get the public's reaction, and then create the solution. And that's exactly what they've been doing, and it's been becoming more and more apparent and more evident as each day goes by, yeah? And we've become lazy, and we've become like little adolescents, yeah, arguing and bickering amongst each other, instead of putting those big egos of us to one side and our differences and actually coming up with a solution, yeah? But until we do that, you might as well kiss your ass goodbye, yeah? And that's not an exaggeration, because if you want to know what's going to happen in the West tomorrow, then look to China. That's not a conspiracy theory. They have a social questions score. If anyone took the time to look at Black Mirror, they're even showing it on films. Yeah, they're telling you what they're doing. Yeah, they're preempting what their goal is, and you can't see it. You just think it's some science fiction movie, or, you know, it's just something that's not real, something that you can escape into. It's a fantasy world. Well, no, it's not. It's called predictive programming, yeah? They're preparing you. Anyone took the time to see and watch The Simpsons, why is it that a lot of The Simpsons, not that I'm into it, a lot of it's coming to fruition? Even the Twin Towers, 911, yeah? Now, if Tony Blair can lie about the Iraq bombing, yeah, that killed, what, over 2 million people, I think? Yeah, and saying that they had massive weapons of destruction, right? Outright blatant lie. Then what makes you think that our history throughout has even been truthful? I'm not saying that the events didn't take place. What I question is, were we given the truth? You know, was this actually factual? I mean, we were told that we went to war because Hitler, oh God, we can't mention Hitler, we can't do that because I'll be anti-Semitic, yeah? No, it's got nothing to do with that. But what was the real reason behind it? I mean, come on, I'm not sticking up for him. I don't believe in any war. I don't believe in the killing of children, women or men of any kind, any race, any religion. I don't. I think we should be at peace with one another, and I think we should have the mindset that if you do something and it's by choice and you're not imposing that on another and you're not imposing your will on another and it doesn't impact anyone else, then we should all live by that. If we all live by that standard, then the world would be a much better place. But unfortunately, we don't. We have these belief systems in place. My God's better than your God. No, it's not. Your God's better than my God, yeah? And you argue amongst yourself. Or my culture's better than yours. No, it's not. Or this is better. Adultents. I mean, come on. Grow the fuck up, will you, please? It's ridiculous. If you don't realise that you're under mind control, I mean, and that you're under a spell and you're just walking around asleep, not even aware or oblivious to what's going on around you, that the fact that our skies have been sprayed for a number of years now, yeah? Just look up geoengineering, yeah? Look up cloud seeding. Go on the government websites, yeah? They've got patterns for it, yeah? But no, I'm some crazy conspiracy theorist, yeah? I've got a tinfoil hat. Well, I'll tell you what, I'd rather be crazy, because you've got to be fucking crazy to live in this mad world, because it is mad, yeah? And the lunatics are finally running the asylum. And I understand and I appreciate there's a lot of families out there who are struggling. They're just trying to struggle to put money and to earn money and a roof over their head and to feed their children. I get it. And they want you in survival mode. That's exactly what they want. Do you honestly think that we were brought in this world to live like this? You know, to just work our butts off and have nothing to show for it at the end of the day? Do you really think that is what humanity is all about? That is why we're here? No, it's not. And what they say to you, they try to sell it to you like it's normal. The way we're living is not normal. It's far from normal. And it's sad. It's very sad. And then you wonder why mental health is on the increase. Yeah, I can see it clearly. You've got to be mentally ill now. I think you've got to be able to survive, to be perfectly honest with you. You really have, because how else would you be able to survive? I really don't know. But all I know is if we don't come together, if we don't unite, if we don't put our differences to one side and stop acting like children, because we might have said something that you might not agree with, or we might have said about a particular person who we don't feel is your saviour, and then you just, everything else, you just switch off, and it clouds your judgment. Instead of being open, instead of having a proper debate and saying, well, how did you come to that conclusion? What makes you feel that way? Why do you think that way? Yeah. So we can have a proper adult mindful conversation. So you can get other people's perspective on things, because that's what they really are, is perspectives. Yeah. You might actually find that you've got more in common than you have not. But, and this is the bit that is the hardest, is about growing up and becoming that adult and realising that we are going to have differences. We are going to have different opinions depending on our personality, depending on our life experiences, depending on our beliefs, everything. But that's not an excuse to just completely shut down because you might not agree that Trump's your saviour or Tommy Robinson or whatever, yeah? You know, it shouldn't shut down a conversation. It shouldn't shut down completely everything, and you shouldn't run people down or shoot them down just because they don't entirely agree with everything. There is that word, there is that saying that you can agree to disagree agreeably, yeah, and still have a conversation with that person. It should, and still does, believe it or not, exist. But it seems to be getting more and more less common by the day. But my concern is, and it's like all these things that are happening that we seem to think are separate, and people are still not able to understand that it's all part of a bigger plan and a bigger picture, that they're not isolated incidents. The immigration is not an isolated occurrence, yeah. The terrorism and COVID, they're not isolated incidences. It's all part of a bigger plan, yeah. And during COVID, lockdown was a test. I mean, if I turned around and said COVID was a load of bollocks, I'm sure there's going to be loads of people out there going to say, how dare you? I knew someone was in hospital. My partner died of this. You know, they had COVID. And I make no apology, and I'm sorry if they passed away. You know, and I don't want to sound like I'm uncaring or, you know, I'm this person that lacks empathy. But COVID was a test. I mean, think about it, guys. When did you ever go down to your GP or somewhere within a medical field and say, I want this test, but I don't have any symptoms? Yeah, could you please tell me what's wrong with me? And also I realised that there are different virulent strains of flu. I remember I had a strain of flu back in 99 and I was quite fit and healthy then. I was only in my 30s, and boy, did it wipe me out. It wasn't this runny cold or head cold that you get. I felt completely wiped out. I felt like I was dying, and I'm not exaggerating, yeah? And I can understand why people, if their immune system is already compromised, or the elderly, why it would kill them. But isn't it curious? Doesn't curiosity grab you or grip you in any way? Why is it that flu magically disappeared during that time, yeah? I mean, does not anyone question that? And why was it that most of the hospitals were all quiet and virtually empty, and there were some people during lockdown who were going through the hospitals and wards and that and got arrested for it? What was that all about? And if anyone's got TikTok, why were you getting doctors and nurses doing these dances and, you know, like they've got all the time in the world? Whereas normally, if we had this pandemic, this so-called pandemic, or I call it scandemic, then surely we would have seen it. We would have seen funeral parlours sky high. We would have heard ambulances a lot more busier and sirens going on. If everyone had switched off their TV, right, would we have really noticed any difference? Yeah? Really, come on, guys. It was a test, and it was a test to bring in digital systems as well. And it was all sold under the guise of convenience because you can't go out, you're locked down. And we didn't mind it then, we accepted it. But that was all part of the parcel to bring out this digital ID. They've already built it, and it's the same with electrical cars. That's not a separate occurrence. It's all part of a bigger plan. Why are they pushing people with electric vehicles? I mean, since when has someone had to force something on you and also say to you it's for your own betterment, it's for your own good, yeah? All under the guise of climate change, yeah? Okay, climate change. Let's go on about climate change, yeah? The weather and the weather system has changed, and it goes in cycles. I mean, I can't be completely accurate, but I know in this country about 400 or 500 years ago, up in the northern parts of the UK, we literally had grapevines, yeah. So it goes in cycles. Back in the day, you used to have frost fairs on the River Thames, yeah. But no one wants to understand history. No one wants to do the research. And yes, I appreciate it. For a lot of people, you're busy. You're in survival mode. I get it. But they want you in survival mode. They want you distracted. They want you blaming the left. They want you blaming the right. They want you doing all of that because that means you're not looking at the real culprits. Yeah? You're not concentrating on them. You're not concentrating on the political system and the powers that be behind them. Trump, Starmer, Nigel Farage, all of them, they're just puppets. and they're having their strings pulled. And they're giving you the illusion that they're going to be your saviour, that they're going to help you. But what you need to look at is their connections. I mean, I can give you one connection. Go and look at Peter Thiel, his connection with Trump, his connection with Musk, Elon Musk. He's not your saviour. This is the one that's put satellites up in space, yeah, who wants to give a chip in your head, yeah, and keeps pushing AI, yeah. Oh, it's for the betterment. And then they talk about Doge, yeah, getting rid of governmental departments and that. But no one's questioning, okay, you're going to do that, are you? You reckon you're going to save money? You're going to get rid of corruption? Why isn't people questioning what are they actually replacing it with? So if they're getting rid of certain departments within the system in America, for instance, yeah, right, and some of those people are innocent, some of them are not all corrupt, some of them are just like me and you, ordinary people that are going about their day trying to put a roof over their head and feed their family. They're not all corrupt. What happens to those people, yeah? And what are they replacing it with? Has anyone questioned that? No, because you're too busy and too distracted thinking that they're going to come and rescue you. Instead of getting off your fat, lazy asses, sorry, that's a big insult, yeah, but I'm not sorry really. And realising that the power lies within. It lies within you, yeah, no one else. You are your own saviour, no one else. Because I'm sorry, guys, there is no one out there coming to save you. No one. And the only way that we can save humanity and get our freedoms back and get this control away from us is setting your differences aside and uniting, yeah? And then once we unite, then we can be in a better position to sort out this mess, to sort out immigration. But if you think your political system is going to do it, I mean, come on, guys. I like Turkey, but do I want it every bloody year? Do I want it day in and day out? I mean, too much of a good thing or a bad thing is unhealthy, isn't it? Well, what's the difference with our political system? They're unhealthy. A lot of them are narcissists, yeah? They want to continuously gaslight you. It's like being in an abusive relationship with a partner. Would you keep putting up with that? Would you keep putting up with abuse over and over and over again, yeah? And being lied to and being questioned about your reality, yeah? You wouldn't. If you've got any self-respect, you wouldn't. You would walk away. You wouldn't put up with it. So why is it any different with our political system? It isn't. It's no different. All they are is men in suits, and the only difference is they're not bombing us. And because they're not bombing us, you're finding it hard to understand and recognise that we are actually under attack, yeah? The only difference is they're not bombing us. They're doing it in different ways. And they're doing it by gaslighting you, by not controlling our borders, by allowing other people who they lied to us about, because it wasn't about massive weapons of destruction or that we're under threat. It wasn't about Russia threatening us. It's all about money laundering. It's all about nicking other countries' resources like oil, minerals, everything else. And when they say foreign aid, do you really think it's for foreign aid? That foreign aid that they're telling you is money laundering. Is so that they can transfer money from one account to another, taxpayers' money, and say to you, we're using it for this. But do you go to those countries? Do you actually see it? The only people who see it are the people that are doing on the ground journalism. And there are a few that have. And they've gone to these different countries. Yeah? And there isn't anything. They're not benefiting from anything of this. The whole system is corrupt. It needs taking down. It's about time that we created something different. We don't need a political system. We're not going to vote our way out of this, no matter what. And if you keep believing that, then I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for you, because I just think, my God, you must really like being in an abusive relationship, yeah? You are so trusting and so lazy and so immature that you can't see the wood through the trees. You really can't, yeah? And I can't help you, because you've got to help yourself at the end of the day. You know, it doesn't matter what your situation is or how much you're struggling. And as harsh as it sounds, at the end of the day, the only person who can help you is yourself. Yeah, it's like anyone who's a drug addict or an alcoholic. Yes, you can provide them the support, you can provide them with the empathy and the understanding, but at the end of the day, it's them that makes that choice. It's them that makes that final step to transform into something new. Yeah, no matter what help, you can throw everything at them but the kitchen sink. But if they're not ready, and if they don't want to do it, it's not going to make a blind bit of difference. So why is it different in this instance when all of this crap is going on, yeah? You know, at the end of the day, you've got to help yourself, and then you've got to be more understanding with other people. And instead of screaming and throwing your toys out the pram, or blocking them, or shutting them down, or calling them names, or racist, anti-Semite, or whatever, which is not going to get you anywhere, by the way, because it hasn't so far, has it? I mean, it's only getting worse, yeah? You need to start talking to people. You need to ask them. You need to say to them, well, how come you've come to that conclusion, like I've just said earlier in this conversation, in this video? Because that's the only way you're going to be able to unite, yeah? You can sit there and say it's all the Muslims. There's good and bad in everyone, no matter what. You only have to look throughout history and humanity. It shouldn't matter about your skin colour. It shouldn't matter about your creed. It shouldn't matter about your gender. It shouldn't matter what religion you are, what your culture is. It's about being a human being at the end of the day. We're all humans. Take off your armour, take off your religion, take off your beliefs. What are you left with? You're stripped down bare naked. You're a human being. And that's where we need to start. That's where we have to start, yeah? And not believing things blindly all the time and squabbling and bickering like children. I mean, come on. It's a joke, an absolute joke. And, you know, what more can I say? But we are in grave danger, and we are when it comes to digital ID. It's not under the guise of for our safety. It's definitely not for immigration purposes. I mean, come on, guys. Illegal immigrants, really? They're working illegally. That means the people that they work for are being illegal. They're acting illegally. Do you think they're going to obey the law? Really? Oh, I've got digital ID. I can't do this anymore. Come on. Please use your common sense, yeah? You don't need a degree to use your common sense. I mean, come on. It's not about immigration. It's about control. Everything that they are doing is about control. And it's all about conquer and divide. Because the more divided you are, you can't fight back. And you become distracted while they're pushing in this agenda. And then you're looking at the saviours that you think are going to come along and save you. Oh, Trump, oh dear me, he's got a Jesuit education. I mean, what I suggest, if anyone's really interested and really wants to do something, I would go and look at the things like the Knights of Malta, Knights Templar, the Round Table, Trilateral Commission, is it the Bank International Settlement? There's various ones. And go back, look at the Rothschilds, yeah? Look at the Rothschilds' connection to the royal family. Look at the Rothschilds' connection to the creation of Israel. Research these people. Even if you do it for 10 minutes a week, because it's out there. People say, well, where is this information? Where is this proof? It's out there. You only have to go online. It's all out there. And then you'll be able to finally connect the dots. And then you'll realise that all these little individual things that are happening, they're not coincidental. They're all part of a bigger picture. It's like dot to dot. Do you remember those books where you had to connect the dots, yeah? Go out and buy a couple of them. Get a bit of practice, yeah? I don't mean to sound flippant. You might become better at it. Well, do your dot to dot with all of these individual occurrences, which are not individual, by the way. They're all part of a bigger plan, yeah? And it's like the electrical cars that I went off earlier in a tangent. They're going to put in systems which are geofencing, yeah? If you want to know what geofencing is, yeah. It's basically the same as a trolley. If you go into a supermarket, I mean, back in the day, you could take a trolley out and dump it anywhere. Not that I agree with that. I think if you do something like that, you should have the capacity and the dignity to take it back and be respectful. So I don't, I'm not in any way agreed or thought that was the appropriate behaviour. But anyway, I'm going off in a tangent again. What you should be doing or looking at is that they've built in a system, especially with these newer cars and when they update them or when you go in for service, so that it's the same as a trolley. If you take it beyond a certain area, it will stop, it will halt, it won't go any further. Well, that's the same with electrical vehicles, because they don't want you really driving. They don't want you in your car. They want you living in your 15-minute cities, yeah? Under the guise of its convenience. It'd be better for you. It'd be better for the climate. And this CO2 bollocks, yeah? CO2. Do you know what CO2 is? CO2 is the gas of life. If we didn't have CO2, we wouldn't have trees, we wouldn't have plants, we wouldn't have grass. We wouldn't be able to live, yeah? But no, people are too lazy, yeah? People are too lazy to do the research, to do their own due diligence. And I find that very sad, yeah? I really do, because I just think to myself, yeah, there are some really, really good people out there. Really good people that are trying to, you know, fight for humanity. And I commend them, because it's exhausting, bloody exhausting, when you're also having to deal with survival mode as well, and yet they put their neck above the parapet for the sake of humanity, yeah? They don't get appreciation for it. They just get run down, they get called names. And there's a lot of distrust as well, which I think is very sad. But I think that's been done deliberately as well. A lot of suspicion, a lot of distrust, yeah, which is another way of keeping people separate, keeping them apart, stopping them from talking. Why do you think pubs are closing, yeah? Pubs back in the day used to be a hub of community where people could get together, where they would talk about things, where they'd be able to compare things, yeah? That's convenient, isn't it? Why is it you see most of the high streets now, the shops boarded up, everyone's online doing the shopping under the guise of convenience? Well, because they know you're indoors, they know what you're doing. And if you're paying online, they know exactly what your transactions are, what you're buying, yeah? Because it's all digital, yeah? So that's part of it, yeah? And you don't even realise it's happening, yeah? And then you're not outside, you're not talking, you're not meeting up with people, you're not being able to make comparisons. And then they're trying to pit the young against the old, because the old lived in a different generation. They didn't have all this digital, yeah? They can tell you a few things. You could learn from them and vice versa. It's all divide and conquer, guys, all of it. And I can't help but feel frustrated. And I can't help but feel so pissed off with humanity. Well, what do I do? What do I say? This video is going to be ignored. No one's going to bother. No one's really going to take much notice. And I can't help but feel deflated. And I think that's very sad. And then those people are going to wish to God that they had listened. And I feel angry because it's those people that are walking around sleepwalking that are going to lead us into a very dystopian future. Because once they do the digital cash and they've got everything on computer, and then if you don't obey the government or if you don't go along, you'll be restricted from where you can buy, you'll be restricted from where you can travel, you'll be restricted from what schools you can educate your kids in, you'll be restricted from various types of employment. And most of the employment will be replaced by AI anyway, so they won't need us. They don't want us anyway. They look at us as useless eaters, if I'm honest. They really do not like us, the human race, yeah? These people, they're not like us. They don't have empathy like us. And that's why I think a lot of people find it hard to understand, and they think you're crazy, batshit crazy or mad. But they're not like your normal human that shows sympathy or empathy unless you're a mass murderer, yeah, or you're a sociopath. Just think of them as sociopaths, yeah, then you might be onto something, yeah, just because they walk around in suits and they smile at the cameras. Look at Keir Starmer's eyes, dead eyes, yeah, he's a sociopath, yeah, he might have children and family, but what sort of a person would follow instructions? And a lot of these people from political the arena, and I don't mean the backbenchers, the ones that are low down or your local MPs, yeah, I'm talking the ones that are higher power, higher up in positions, like your Boris Johnson, your David Cameron, your Theresa May, your Rishi Sunak, whatever, nutsack I call him, and your Trumps, and there is no left and right. They're all same. They're, the cheeks of the same arse, basically. And you haven't got a choice. It's all an illusion. But a lot of them are narcissists as well, or they've been compromised in some way, so they have to follow orders. They have to follow this agenda, But I just think they're cowards as well, because I'd rather be exposed than go along knowing that I'm going to destroy humanity, yeah, just so that I can survive and just so that I can still continue feeding my children and putting a roof over their head. It's like Hitler, isn't it? Back in the day, it wasn't Hitler on his own that was able to create that war. I mean, you can't have one person going out and trying to invade other countries. That would be impossible. It was his followers. Oh, I was only following orders, yeah? That's what helped him achieve and obtain and do what he did at the end of the day. Well, it's no different to us. It's like the police. Oh, I'm just following orders. Oh, I was just following orders. For fuck's sake. Following orders for who? For what? Yeah? For your own enslavement? Yeah? What about morality? Where's your morals? Where's your values? Where's your principles? Where have they all gone? What? Just so that you can survive, yeah? But you won't survive. None of you are going to be able to survive, because it's going to affect each and every single one of us. And it doesn't matter what religion. It won't matter what colour you are. It won't matter what your beliefs are. It won't matter where your kids have been educated. It won't matter how many cars you've got in your driveway. It wouldn't matter how many... If you're not, like George Carlin said, it's one big club and you're not in it. And the only ones that are going to benefit from this are the 1% at the top, yeah? No one else. Everyone else is seen as a useless lotus eater, yeah? So we're all going to be impacted by it. Every single one of us, yeah? Even those ones that think they're quite well off, and they've got a bit of money in the bank and they can go on a few holidays and they might have 1 or 2 cars in the driveway, which I'm not knocking. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think, if someone wants to better themselves, then by all means. And I think that's a good thing. And I think they're good morals and values to have. So I'm not knocking that in any way. And I apologise if it's coming across that way, because it's not meant like that. But even those people, they are destroying the middle class. They don't want the middle class. They want everyone poor, and they want everyone under your faces, under their boot, yeah? And you'll be begging, literally begging. And this is why they keep going on about universal income. Really? Because AI is going to replace a lot of humans and there's not going to be very many jobs. Yeah, so, I mean, look at the cashiers. How often can you go to a checkout now and get served by a human being? Which is good, because you can have a conversation with them at a cashier. You can have that one-to-one facial interaction with them, which is good for social skills, yeah? Instead of standing there behind a computer, pressing in a few buttons, and also getting your face recognised, because they're scanning facial recognition, yeah? Biometrics. That's not coincidental. So really, guys, that's all I've got to say on the matter. Yeah, because I don't know what else to say. And I think I've exhausted everything and I'm mindful of not rambling. But all I ask is put your differences to one side. Stop arguing with each other. Stop thinking that the left are to fault. Yeah, some of them are mad. Some of the things they believe in. But who implanted those things? Who implanted about transgender there being more than, you know, how many genders are there now? I can't remember. There's so many I've lost count, yeah? When really there's 2. Who introduced that? Who introduced that into the educational systems, yeah? And into your prisons and your curriculums and God knows what else? Who was responsible for that? Who was behind it? It wasn't the left.